This is a thoughts and hopes on the player-based system soon to hit live servers on Planetside 2. There are those that believe the construction system is the second coming of the Araxian saviour, and those that predict a cyber rapture. But then again, the more extreme comments on YouTube are the more noticeable, and I'm sure there are moderates and many more sitting on the fence. However, something undeniable is that it is a very popular topic and anticipated feature. My videos on them have blown up in popularity and took me by surprise. Anyway, in the background will be footage from the public test server where we assaulted a work-in-progress dev fortress, so sit tight as I go through where the player construction will add meta or madness. If you haven't come across it before, Daybreak Games, Planetside 2's developer, is putting together a construction system where players collect a resource called Cortium, which is spread across the open world maps the gameplay occurs on, jutting out from the environment as these sort of greyish glowing orange crystals. Players extract it with a fairly vulnerable vehicle called an ant, which actually really looks more like a stag beetle. You can also deploy this vehicle to become a construction centre to make several structures, walls, shields, turrets, repair bots, but most importantly, a victory point generator, which basically goes towards capturing one of the continents in Planetside 2. Yes, the whole continent. Bernace, one of the developers, showed last night that there is a silo to store the Cortium in, and it gives hints how a fleet of these vehicles could be coordinated to bring resources to it and make a pretty epic base. Think Red Alert or Command & Conquer and collecting your resource with resource collectors. Yeah, that sort of thing. Bernace also stated on Reddit that once a victory point generator is placed down, it will be viewable on all factions on that map. Basically, a come attack me please icon. He has also stated that the initial release will be a foundation to be built upon, and things he would like to try out are spawn tubes, vehicle spawners, garages, gates, and more infiltrator tie-in to add a few. So why is it so important? Well, we haven't seen proper base building and siege mechanics outside of the Korean MMORPGs, and small camps in survival games like Rust, H1Z1, and we've got those camps in Squad, the new tactical combat sim on Steam. However, not yet have we seen fights and combat arms with dropships, tanks, infantry in their hundreds assaulting a player-made base. What I'm getting at is this could be a feature to turn heads in the world of gaming. Battlefield, the closest competitor, has had relatively lackluster new titles with Hardline and arguably Battlefront missing the mark for their fans. Battlefield 4 has also seen small additions and map releases, but it is seemingly stagnating as of late. Further, Battlefield 5 may be in the works and rumoured to be a World War I escapade, but we are left guessing at the moment. That is where a sandbox MMO like Planetside 2 has the advantage of being able to change so drastically all of the time and in real time to evolve into a different game. Sure, we have to put up with buggy patch days and zergs, but it is really set apart from a fixed AAA title ready to be replaced. So this may be a gaming headline feature that may be able to drag some of the disillusioned Battlefield player base and wider gaming society into Planetside 2 to make Araxis great again. I'm joking, but good burns aside, I hope that it does. How is it working and currently on the test server? Well, the fight that occurred on the test server with around 80 or so participants gave a glimpse of what a fleshed out base might be like. A genuine struggle to take with stages where you breach parts of defences to get inside and fight, and it adds a different type of fighting where the defenders are buckled down and are repairing the modules and structures whilst the attackers shell them and try and sneak through the cracks. It also shows how the map might be affected by the bases, giving a reason for an attacker to go down a certain lane on the map lattice to get a better base spawn closest possible to the enemy fort. And regarding the meta edition having a new objective that has a tangible effect on the war, in being able to add points towards continent capture, they will be something interesting and important to fight over, and this is where this meta term comes into play. And because of the destruction of the spawn points and the base itself, it will never turn into a boring camp where a handful of defenders are stuck inside behind an impenetrable shield whilst attackers sit outside like vultures in their masses. The initial worries are that there is nowhere for the defenders to spawn unless they bring their own sunderers, which are fairly vulnerable. Also, the AI turrets will always be on the edge of annoyingness versus fun. The anti-air whilst we were fighting was able to lock onto us perfectly from quite far away, but this may be mitigated on live where there may be lots of aircraft swarming around a base. Also, oppositely, we could shoot the AI turrets from far away with no penalty whilst they could do nothing to us. Also, certain outfits will be able to drop hundreds of players on a base due to their community sizes, but others may only be able to muster tens of people to defend their fort. I also hope it doesn't turn out like the initial construction tests in January, where buildings were spammed everywhere on the map, so that everywhere doesn't become cluttered. The clutter not only could break immersion, it could also break the FPS banks. Even though in January the test did hold out pretty well, there was still a slight drop in performance. There have also been quite a few question marks over monetization. Being a free-to-play game, they have to make their money somewhere, but how much will these things cost when they go live? How long will they take to grind for free? And will it be viable for enough players to keep the feature an active one? Some things I think that need to happen or could be useful are that firstly, there needs to be an incentive for taking the player bases if we want them to be taken seriously. Firstly, just in general, giving experience points out to players. Maybe a relatively high construction destruction reward and XP for damage done to buildings, like the anti-air XP, with possible XP doubling for fighting close to the VP generator, similar to the increase you get for attacking or defending a capture point. Also, because this is going to attract teamwork and inter-outfit rivalries as outfits will make their own bases, it would be nice for outfits to be able to be rewarded for taking out another outfit's base. Wouldn't it be nice, for example, to have the base capture ratios for outfits, showing a scoreboard on an outfit page for how many bases you have taken of theirs and how many of yours they have taken. Like, for example, 3 to Riot, 2 to 208. And I hopefully have picked some outfits that are void of drama. I thought I'd pick some neutral outfits to mention, but hey, maybe there'll be some drama in the comments anyway. And I just hope you get the picture. This could happen perhaps as a ratio of damage done to a victory point generator, or more simply the last person that kills it. This way though may end up with a one-man outfit called Base Ninja, with all of this destructions, even friendly ones. However, some tenable competitive score mark regarding outfits would be appreciated, and this could be one of them. I do think the meta incentive regarding needing to destroy VP generators to stop a faction from taking a whole continent are strong though, but as we see with alerts, they don't always get everyone to act. From what I can see on the test server, a single victory point generator doesn't generate too much towards the victory points at the moment, although could be cumulative with several bases and may get quicker and quicker as you add more to the mix. However, I would like to see VP generation be fairly quick, within reason, to give an imperative need to destroy things and not just to let them become a background feature that doesn't really matter. But this is going to depend on how many bases there are and how many VP generators people manage to get up. In some ways, I hope there are less bases rather than more bases, and it becomes more of a focus fight and an objective that the whole team really needs to react to. But in the same way, it might be interesting to have lots of bases, and destroying VP generators is something that you do along the way. But we'll just have to see how it plays out in live, but I would like it to be a bit faster. And that may be tweaked before it goes out anyway, and I've only really seen it in action on a video. I think it would be nice to have a notice once the base came under attack as an ally, something big on the map interface or maybe a mission update to defend it with some XP. Otherwise, like mentioned before, it may become an attraction to dump a few platoons on, and maybe something relatively undefended or undefendable against a Zerg. I do hope that there is a thought to the reduction in small bases on Amrish and Ezimir, as there is currently on Indar, the desert continent, as that is currently being updated and is becoming much more inviting for these bases to be put in between the spaces that have been made, and there's a lot more space for them to be put in so that they don't completely clutter the maps. And mostly, I don't really want there to be these choke points that are always between bases and just slow down the flow of battle rather than adding an interesting objective. And this is why I'm sort of caught between wanting a few that are important rather than lots of bases dotted all over the map, and just adding a distraction rather than an actual objective. I do hope that there are certain restrictions on building placement, and at the moment there is no core component to a base that holds everything together. The ant can be moved so it isn't as useful as a central point, and you don't have to plop down the VP generator as that will show up on the map. Basically, I want there to be bases in the game. I don't really want single walls and turrets randomly on the map cluttering the environment, but I do see on the other hand that it could be interesting to place walls and turrets at fixed bases that already exist as added layers of defenses, and also because they are destructible, they'd be easily removed and just generally something else to destroy. So perhaps there could be a self-regulation. My big worry though, as I've said before, is that it could get out of hand extremely quick and could become cluttered, as I've mentioned before. Obviously every suggestion needs coding and may not be feasible, but what does everyone else think of the construction system? Will it be Planetside 2's saving grace? Will it ruin the game, or do you think it is a meh feature and will be forgotten quite quickly? Be sure to put your own thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, thumbs it up. If you thought it was architecturally unstable, dislike it. And subscribe for more Planetside 2 content breakdowns and previews. Until next time everybody, Joshino.